Hey everybody, welcome to a new Quick Shot interview. My name is Flo, and today I'm joined by the outstanding American singer-songwriter slash producer, Riley Schmelzer. Riley,
Oh,
thank you for being on the show tonight.
yeah, thank you for having me.
So, can you start by giving us a quick resume of your career so far?
Yeah, so I have been playing. I started off playing guitar when I was like, I would say 13 years old. I'm 18 now. And when I was 14, I went in and I started dabbling around with like composition and stuff like that. And I wrote four songs that I thought were good enough to release. And I had put them on SoundCloud. And then after that, I'd started finding like actual mixers and stuff. And then that's kind of what started the whole thing.
Okay. Has the initial reaction on SoundCloud been positive from the start on, or has there been a rocky road until you got where you wanted to be?
Um, it's been pretty slow, like slower than I had hoped, but honestly, I'm a little biased with expectations considering I this is my first time doing this and there will only ever be one time to do this. But I've had a lot of support from friends and of course like family and stuff, and that's like given me enough confidence, as well as the people who don't believe in me. That's like my biggest drive to create something as big as I want to make.
Mhm.
um I would say it's been like 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Was it no Sigler from the start on, or did you produce your first tracks under your original name?
It has always been No Signal.
So how did you come up with no Sigler? What's this name about?
um I actually remember like the day that I like got inspired for that name. I was walking on, there's this place in Boulder that a lot of people have heard of called Pearl Street, and there's a lot of like televisions that display ads on them, and one of them had No Signal on it, and it said No Signal, and I was like, you know what, that looks like a really cool picture. So I took a picture of it. And I have the picture saved somewhere in my computer, I bet. And then from then on I kind of was like, that would be a really cool band name. So I decided to use that as the name for the four songs that I released in the beginning.
Okay. Um, but no Signal is your gig and not a band gig, or is there a band connected to your project as well?
Um, I record and write everything at the moment, like all the instruments and such. And with help from my father as a producer, because he's a very talented musician as well. Um, I write everything, I record everything, and we kind of work together to make the songs like, final and polished. And then I have two other band members, Nick Cubis and Tanner Schaefer, um, who would play it live with me, once that becomes a thing again.
Yeah.
Um, but at the moment, I'm basically the only mind behind it.
Okay. But the songwriting process stays your thing, and
Yeah,
it isn't a band effort, but your thing.
yeah, it's my thing. Yeah.
Okay. So I noticed that many of your songs are connected to this dark, melancholic atmospheres, and also connected to intense emotional vibe and deeper meaning as well. So the question would be, would you describe your work as a call for action in the end? Is it like an emotional expression, or is it that you follow a certain goal with it?
I would say it's actually both. I definitely have a massive goal. I'm planning like very, very big things. And I as well use it as, a great outlet for emotions. I write usually to like stories and concepts. Concept albums are probably one of my favorite things, like subliminal messaging. Um, something that you have to really like listen to and figure out to understand. Um, and I have, like Google Docs, even of like, pages and pages of like my plans and like storylines and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, so I would say it's like I'm using it as a way to express myself, but on that road is getting me to where I want to be with my goals with this project.
Do you also use music to sort of vent off? So is it a way to express what you cannot in with talking or in real life then?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think at least for me, a lot of my like emotions and experiences can only be expressed sonically.
Mm.
Even like without words, like just like instrumental. Um I I try my best to like put my emotions into sound
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Um, so I read on Spotify on your bio that you're a self-taught musician. Is that correct?
Yeah. I've never had lessons or anything.
But you have to have at least singing lessons or something like this, right?
Um for the first well, I wouldn't count them as lessons. I had a lot of vocal damage from previous stuff. And we did have one guy like come over and like help me try to repair my voice and
Mhm.
sing in a healthier way and like almost train me a little bit. But my first like two EPs, Circle in the Sky, Shadow People, and Seed of Dreams, and all the singles in between, I was just self-taught for everything.
Okay. So this previous things that you had the vocal damage, can I ask what they were? Were you in a death metal band or something?
um, when I first started listening to rock and metal music, um, I loved bands. I mean, I still do, but I listen to them a little less. I really, really listen to bands like Slipknot and you know all the screamy bands like Beartooth and stuff like that. And I always wanted to be able to scream like that. So in the beginning, I tried, and it only bit me in the ass like 2 or 3 years later.
Mm.
Um, but I do think that that has a correlation to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I never been able to hit a note the right way, but I read that if you do the screaming thing the wrong way, you only have the range of about 2 or 3 years until you have probably damaged your vocal cords in a way that is not repairable at all.
There you go. Yeah. I'm lucky enough to have been able to get through that. And I at least in my ears, I can definitely hear the like the vocal issues in all of my work right now.
That's something that a musician always has. So for
Yeah.
you, it sounds always in kind of wrong or kind of damaged,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
somebody else wouldn't notice. So what kind of gear do you use in the studio for the songwriting process? Do you start with I don't know, a guitar or a synth, or is there any special way you approach all new songs?
Um, well, I'm lucky enough that where I live is my studio. Um, this is the basement of my house.
Okay.
And I literally just sleep right over there. I never go into the studio with the intent to write a song. Um, and it's not even like I'm waiting for a song to come to me. It just like the idea will come to me, or like a riff will come in my head when I'm playing a video game, or when I'm doing something else, and then I'll say like, oh, if it's a guitar riff, then I'll take out the guitar and I'll record it, and then I'll just start adding on to it, and I'll start hearing more things with it. But there's no like, I mean, I guess if you consider that a special way, then yeah, that's my special way of approaching songwriting. But I kind of just wait.
So you don't have any favorite piece of equipment you like to start with? It just happens, and then you're like, oh, I could do that, this and that, and just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a team with you helping with the work regarding mixing, mastering, or the management?
Yeah. So I've had 3 different mixers throughout my short career so far. Circle in the Sky was my first EP, and that was mixed by a man named Robert Venable, mixed and mastered by him. He's worked with like Kelly Clarkson and 21 Pilots and stuff. I was super lucky to be able to work with him.
Mhm.
And he also mixed the Trap Acoustic, which I believe is my biggest song at the moment. And then Seed of Dreams, the single Stranger Danger, were mixed by a man named Ian Gregory and mastered by him and his brother. Um, Robert Venable's based out of Nashville. Um, Ian and his brother are pretty close to Boulder, I believe. And then PSD was mixed by a man named Joe Carell, who's also based out of Nashville.
Mhm.
And then I guess I'll say my dad is my manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely. I probably wouldn't be anywhere near where I am right now without his help.
I think as a musician, there's always those two parts, to be actually the musician and to go out there and present the stuff to the world. So even having sort of a management is a great advantage to
Oh
have,
yeah,
because I talk to a lot of guys who actually do both of the things themselves. So you only have a portion of the time to do the music, and then another portion, which is probably even bigger than the musical part, to promote your work. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that is definitely an advantage then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what's next for 2021? What can we expect next from you?
Um, I have like right. Well, at the moment, I'm currently working on like 4 or 5 songs. I would say they're just exiting their demo phase. Um, Me and my father are starting to like work on them, and this is going to be the first time that my drummer is the one recording the drums instead of me.
Mhm.
We're going to take it to a studio and get his setup going and like have like a super beautiful drum sound is the hope. But again, I still did compose or write the music, but he's going to throw his stuff in there as well. So it's an EP, and I actually don't have a planned time for release for this one. Usually I have very specific dates for when I want projects to be released, but this one is I'm kind of just like freestyling it, and just whenever it's ready, then it's ready.
Okay. Uh, do you plan on ever releasing an album again? I'm asking this because many people don't believe in albums anymore, because
Mhm.
they are telling me that the single tracks get way more traction than a whole album to be thrown out because of the digital distribution.
Yeah, a big, probably one of the biggest portions of the entity No Signal is the concepts and the storylines, and I wholeheartedly believe in albums, very long albums. So I'm kind of basing it on how everything goes, um, from now on, like with the music that I already have released, um, and with my next EP, like if that goes super super well, then yeah, there will be lots of albums. I already have, I have all the concepts written out. I have almost every song written out to like the 7th album. Um, just to be released in however many years, 40 years or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have a big album right now that hopefully can be released between 2020 and 2030.
Don't wait too long with that.
Yeah, yeah, really.
Okay, Riley, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you so
Um,
much for having me.
for more information, guys, about the outstanding Riley Schmelzer and his project No Signal, please check the links in the description of the video or down this blog post. That's all for this time, and all I have to say is be safe. Bye.